The Clinton crew gave more than $675,000 to the wife of the deputy director of the FBI and the man who was overseeing the investigation into Hillary's illegal server, a server we now know Obama knew about. The more emails Wikileaks releases, the more lines between the Clinton Foundation, the Secretary of State's office, and the Clintons' personal finances, they all get blurred.
All right, that was Donald Trump earlier today talking about the damning new WikiLeaks revelations. Now, as Ed just told us a few moments ago, one email released today was from the president for the Center for American Progress. The co-chair, of course, is Clinton's transition team, Neera Tanden. Now, she wrote back in July of 2015, quote, "Do we actually know who told Hillary she could use a private email? And has that person been drawn and quartered? Like, this whole thing is insane." I didn't say the other word. Anyway, joining us now with reaction is the author of Unholy Alliance from the American Center for Law and Justice, Jay Sekulow, and Washington Examiner contributor, by the way, now a part of the Fox News family, Lisa Booth is with us. Guys, good to see you both.
Hi, Sean.
Hey, Sean. Jay, I have not sensed from you real enthusiasm for Trump. Why?
Well, I just think that the campaign has missed the issues. I mean, that's been, and Sean, you and I have been friends a long time. I'm an issues person, and I'm worried about the issues being addressed, and I don't think it's been articulated particularly strongly by Donald Trump. Now, that's not to say that the media
in fairness to him, though, this is really, I think, an issue that involves the narrative of the news media. He came out with Trump's contract with America,
Absolutely.
Detailed, substantive. I'll give you some other details. We know he is going to drop the corporate tax rate down to 15%. We know he's going to extremely vet refugees. We know he's going to build a wall. We know he's going to eliminate, replace Obamacare health savings accounts. We know he'll say radical Islam. And you saw the list of Supreme Court justices. That's an issue near and dear to your heart. So, help me out here.
So what you just did, Sean, is very effective. The problem is, and it is part of it's the media, but part of it is being, when you've got to give a message, you've got to make your 3 points and stick to it no matter what is coming at you. And what I've seen in the campaign, and by the way, I think it's way too close to call. I think that Donald Trump underpolls. But I think the fact is you've got 3 or 4 major points you want to make. You just rattled them off very succinctly. But he tends to get distracted. And that's the thing that in a presidential campaign,
maybe that's
like
true.
the Supreme Court argument, never let them get you distracted.
I've been on radio 30 years. It's my 21st year on Fox. This is what I do. He's a business guy. I'm not sure that the public, the voting public, Lisa, jump in here, is going to judge him on the standard of whether he can rattle off, exactly his agenda in 30 seconds like a professional talk show host could.
Well, look, I think that part of Donald Trump's appeal to voters is the fact that he doesn't speak like Hillary Clinton, the fact that he speaks a little bit more plain-spoken, like an average person would. And they find Hillary Clinton rehearsed, and that's part of the inauthenticity and the reason that Americans don't trust her. But I do think that it would be to Donald Trump's benefit, especially right now with all of this information that has come out regarding WikiLeaks, whether it's the fact that Bill Clinton personally made $66 million off of sources that were tied to the Clinton Foundation, essentially leveraging those relationships to make the Clintons personally rich. And that gives a lot of new light when you remember that the AP had reported not too long ago that more than half of Hillary Clinton's non-government meetings were Clinton Foundation donors. So there's so much information here to unpack, and I certainly believe that it's to Donald Trump's benefit to start unpacking it for narratives.
And Jay, they're admitting they know that this entire issue is corrupt. And all these different emails that went back and forth, they knew it was false. They knew the Clinton Foundation issue. They understood it.
Yeah. So here's the real issue. His staff, now because of WikiLeaks, the staff reporting of what was going on internally inside the campaign is now made public for the rest of the world to see. And if you look at where these lines go, this is not, by the way, a complicated connect the dots. The fact is what was going on. I mean, you mentioned the FBI situation. I mean, the FBI should be embarrassed. Now the number 2 guy at the FBI gets promoted after all this mess. His wife was running to be a state Senate seat, and the governor of Virginia pours in between the DNC and PACs $700,000, $800,000 for a state Senate seat, which she loses, and then he gets promoted. I mean, none of this, Sean, look, in another universe at another time, this would be a very different situation. But I go back to stay a message. You're coming up to the most important 10 days of the presidential election. This is it. The final 10 days is just 2 days away. For both Clinton and for Trump, they have got to hit their messages. If you're a Trump supporter, you want them hitting exactly what you hit consistently, not get distracted by other things. If you're a Clinton supporter, same thing. Focus on where you're going to go. If they don't focus, though, that's the problem. And Donald Trump has not been focused.
Last word, Lisa.
Well, I agree. I do think that he really does need to stay focused because there are indications that this race is tightening. But what we've seen throughout this election is the fact that it's been very fluid. There's been a lot of ebbs and flows. That being said, there's 12 days out until the election. There's no time left for screw-ups. He cannot say something stupid. He cannot distract the media's attention away from things like the Doug Ban memo, this WikiLeaks information that surfaced, the fact that President Obama might have known about her private email server all along. These are things that he needs to allow the media to stay focused on, and he cannot offer any distractions by getting off message or saying anything stupid. So it's really, this is vital territory right now, Sean.
All right, thank you both. Appreciate it. And up next tonight, right here on Hannity.
Maybe the greatest of that potential is in the African American communities. There's so much potential.
Donald Trump breaking new ground, laying out his, quote, new deal with black Americans. Dr. Ben Carson, A.J. Delgado, they're here next. And later, more of the millennial town hall that we taped in Vegas with Donald Trump Jr., Eric Trump, Lara Trump. And you'll also meet two conservative students who say they've been harassed for their conservative views. That's straight ahead.